Hello, I'm Walt McClure, Director of Public Information at the Department of Motor Vehicles. Welcome to another episode of the Commissioner's Corner, where you hear directly from Commissioner Mark Schroeder about all the ways DMV is driving you forward. Thanks for being with us today, Commissioner.
You're welcome, Walt. It's a pleasure to be here with you. Thank you.
So today we are talking everything you need to know about seatbelts, and obviously that's a huge topic for us here at DMV.
Yeah, there's no question about that. And I didn't know until this very day, until you told me, that the seatbelt was actually invented by a New Yorker. So I think that's pretty interesting. But what's really happened here is in the 1960s, that's when you began to have regulations and mandates. It was under the presidency of LBJ. And here in New York, the governor was Rockefeller. I was at Lake Placid. We were doing a conference on car seats, car seats for children. And quite frankly, it was also the 1960s that led to that. Now, it happened before that, but the regulations and mandates really started in the 1960s. And so this is really a good thing because what it does is it protects New Yorkers, especially, because that's what we're concerned about. That's the reason why the Governor's Traffic Safety Committee is doing this series and also some of the other things that we do, out in public to remind people that it's very important to buckle up.
And we in New York were leading the way on this. I mean, obviously there were seatbelts in cars, but we've kind of led the way in making sure that people were using them.
Yeah, no doubt about that. But I go back to the 1960s because that is when the Highway Safety Act and the National Traffic Motor Vehicle Safety Act went into law. And then that really gave states the opportunities to figure out what they were going to do. In 1984, Governor Mario Cuomo, he made it a mandate that you had to use a seatbelt. And so we were the first state to actually do that. All states now have followed that. Even a few years ago, New York State again was one of the very first states to mandate seatbelt use being used also in the back seats of cars. And so this is just a precaution that protects New Yorkers, and we're grateful for it.
I mean, it's interesting. I think when you think about it, sometimes those of us of a certain age can remember riding in the car without a seatbelt on. You'd sit on somebody's lap, or you would, you were in the front seat without any sort of restraints. And obviously, we were, playing with fire, I guess, back then.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And so I don't remember exactly the year that car manufacturers began to put seatbelts in. But it seemed like, to your point, it seemed like there was a period of time where nobody really paid attention to it. Now, everybody pays attention to it. And there is no question about it, Walt, that seatbelts really do save lives. I'll just give you a couple of statistics here. 15,000 lives are saved yearly. In 2022, 11,302 passengers were killed. Why were they killed? No seatbelts. And mostly the area of concern is between the ages of 18 and 34. So this is the reason why we have so many different programs with young people in our high schools across New York State, but especially now.
And leading up to that, we're continuing our partnership with Ross Chastain, who's been very helpful in helping us get the word out, especially to teens, about this.
Yeah. For the audience who may not know the name, Ross Chastain has been a NASCAR driver, a champion. He won a championship cup not too long ago, and he has an affiliation with DMV, the Governor's Traffic Safety Committee. And he not only is he a very competitive, great driver, but he's very affable. He's very friendly. He knows how to connect with kids. I've been with him all over New York State, in Western New York, in Central New York, in Eastern New York, in New York City. And he has a way to communicate with kids. And he runs a contest with them where you get, teams of 4 kids. They get next to the car, and then they all have to run around the car and get into seatbelts, and whoever can do it the fastest. And the kids have fun doing it, but I will tell you, when they leave school that day, they'll remember that experience that they had and why were they putting on the seatbelts. Because as Ross would say, he wants them to protect their melon. His parents are watermelon farmers in Florida, and he has this thing. When he won the first NASCAR championship, he had a watermelon and he busted it all over the place. Kids like that kind of stuff, and they remember it. And so we're happy to be affiliated with him.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely has been a successful program, and you can see out of that, I mean, and at that, you also can see some of the consequences of people not being buckled. State police bring their rollover, and you see, I mean, it's kind of a dummy, but you're seeing what happens if somebody rolls over and they're not wearing their seatbelt.
Yeah. 11,302 passengers killed with no seatbelts. I mean, it's a very telling story. So I think there has been a cumulative effect here in New York and across the nation. And it's really a good thing in that people are listening to us. They're giving us an opportunity to be heard, and then they're doing something about it. And the reason why I say that is that in the U.S. now, 92% of Americans in the U.S. buckle up. In New York, it's even a better number. It's 94%. So I'm certain that back in the 1980s, it was much less than that. So everything that we do, when we try to communicate to New Yorkers about this, it's working. When we have a young man like Ross Chastain going to all the high schools in New York State to communicate with them and tell them the importance of buckling up, I think it's significant.
And it really is, it's probably one of the simplest things that you can do to protect yourself and to protect others on the roads.
Yeah, there's no question about it. And I think what happens too, Walt, is I've noticed too, I have 2 granddaughters, one who will be 13 soon and one who just turned 12. And it's not even like, you don't even have to, I have never had to say anything to them when they get in a car. They just know what to do. They know where to sit. If the younger one is a little short, so she's still in the back seat. The older one, who's 13, she's got the height and the age, she tells me, to be able to sit in the front. But it's automatic these days. The young ones know. And I've never really been in a car recently where an adult doesn't put on a seatbelt. It's just the right thing to do. It's a law, but it's the right thing to do because I want to preserve my life and I want others who are with me to preserve their lives. And that's how you do it, by buckling up.
And that's one of those, I think it sort of has just become a no-brainer for most of us. It's just the first thing you think. You don't even think about it when you do it anymore. Yeah. I think that's basically what we've got for this episode, Commissioner.
Yeah, I just want to add one thing. I want to, in particular, I really want to thank those employees who work in the Governor's Traffic Safety Committee here in New York State. They just do incredible work. They're all over the state of New York, no matter what the subject matter, whether it's car seats for children, whether it's to buckle up, drunk driving, drugged driving, drowsy driving. They're doing their best across the state. Law enforcement have been incredible partners, state troopers and all law enforcement agencies, villages, towns, cities across New York. We have a great relationship with them. We work with them constantly. And also, I also want to thank all of the high schools within the different school districts. They understand the importance of bringing people in like me and others to talk about safety items. And so I think there's no question we're going to continue that in New York State. And I'm very proud of everybody who's involved in these programs.
All right. Well, as we said, that takes care of another episode of Commissioner's Corner. Always wonderful to be with you and get your perspective on all things DMV.
Thank you, Walt. I appreciate it.
That'll do it for this episode of the Commissioner's Corner. We hope to see you again next time.